I've been looking for this all my life.
Hey guys, it's Sean O'Connell, the managing editor here at Cinema Blend, and I am in Caesars Palace in Las Vegas because I just came out of the Coliseum where Disney had their panel at CinemaCon 2023. And as part of the presentation is footage from the highly anticipated James Mangold sequel, Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. Now, if you guys are following along here, you probably know this is the first Indiana Jones film not directed by Steven Spielberg. So everybody's very curious about how a new director is going to come into the franchise and put their signature on it. Now, Mangold's a terrific filmmaker, in my opinion, and from the footage that we've been able to see, I think he's going to do an excellent job taking Indiana Jones through his, I assume, final adventure, because Harrison Ford is back in the hat and going on a globe-trotting adventure with Phoebe Waller-Bridge as his partner.
I'm retiring.
Well, in that case, what are we drinking?
So the footage that we get to see was a heavy action sequence that's hinted at very much in the trailers. If you see a car chase where Indy and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character are sort of bouncing back and forth between different cars as they try to get the title Dial of Destiny from Mads Mikkelsen, who's the bad guy in the picture. We basically start this footage right off the bat with Indy driving one of those tiny cars around Tangiers, and he and Phoebe Waller-Bridge are trying to argue about the fact that she's engaged to a guy that we think is eventually going to turn out to become a villain, and Indy is a little bit kind of rescuing her, although, of course, in the Raiders franchise, you don't really rescue female characters. They're definitely more strong protagonists who go shoulder to shoulder with Indiana Jones, and Phoebe Waller-Bridge's character looks no different than that because she is heavily involved in all of the action as it takes place. We're zipping around Tangiers, in and out of really tight alleyways, zooming through storefronts, avoiding people in the streets, and there are about 3 or 4 different cars that are following Indy during this chase, and Mangold does a really good job of sort of choreographing the action so that you know exactly where you're supposed to be as the cars are almost crisscrossing each other, and you know where the dial is as everybody's trying to get their hands on it. One criticism I'm going to level at the film, and again, it doesn't come out till June 30th, so this is possibly something that they're going to fix. But over the course of the chase, which is, again, as action-packed and directed in a way that it's not hectic, it's very smooth and streamlined, and you can exactly see what's going on. There's very practical elements where you can tell that the stunt double is doing stuff, and then they will cut to Harrison Ford as he's giving dialogue in the midst of the chase. Those scenes rely on a type of green screen that takes me out of the aspect of the chase. I've been lucky enough to see this footage twice now. I saw it at Star Wars Celebration and now again today during the Disney panel. And each time when they cut to those conversation scenes in the middle of the chase, it's so starkly different from the tangible, practical sequences that they shot for these chase scenes that it does sort of pop me out of what's happening. And I don't know if they can figure out a way to kind of smooth that element or blend it a little bit more with the stuff that they shot practically, because you have to accept the fact that Harrison Ford is older at this point now, and I understand that they have to do this in order to put the film together. But when you see in the trailer how there were scenes where Indy's going to be jumping out of an airplane and riding a horse through a New York City subway, I want to make sure that that stuff looks as authentic as possible so that you stay immersed in the adventure of it all. Outside of that, that's my only real complaint about the footage that we saw, because the rest of it looks very much in line with the first 3 Indiana Jones films, especially that sort of Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, a 1940s serial period piece that has the sort of grain that swims through it and makes it feel like it's out of a time capsule lifted and put back down into the, in this place, 1960s, where Indy is going to be chasing after the Dial of Destiny for reasons that we don't quite know yet. I understand why Disney is bringing this action sequence out. I think it's a great representation of what we are going to get in the Dial of Destiny. And like I said, I think this is going to be Indiana Jones's final film. So I'm really curious to see how Mangold brings the whole thing to a conclusion. We're going to have to wait until June 30th to see the full Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny. So make sure you keep it here at Cinema Blend, not just for the rest of our CinemaCon coverage, but for all of your coverage to Indiana Jones leading up into the film's release.